The river was black, violent, and ice-cold, one of those winter currents that killed even trained swimmers in minutes. The three men didn't care. They dragged her across the cracked pier, laughing as she fought against the duct tape digging into her wrists. "Should have kept your mouth shut," one of them hissed. "Yeah," another smirked, "let's see how long she lasts." They thought she was just a tourist, a woman who happened to see something she shouldn't. They didn't know she'd spent 12 years as a Navy diver, trained to survive cold, darkness, and water that felt like knives. Before she could say a word, a hard shove sent her backward. The world flipped, sky, pier, faces, and then splash. The river swallowed her whole. Instant blackout. 1,000 needles stabbed every inch of her skin. Ordinary people panicked in cold water. She inhaled. She thrashed. She drowned. But she wasn't ordinary. She didn't panic. She didn't inhale. She sank. Her heartbeat slowed, just like she trained it to. 9 minutes. 9 full minutes, her instructors used to say, the human body could manage, if the diver's mind was steel. She drifted downward, letting the cold take her deeper and deeper, beyond the reach of the men watching the surface for bubbles. Above, the men waited. "She ain't coming up," one muttered. "Good," another shrugged. "No one survives that water." But at the 3-minute mark, something shifted. One man frowned. "Wait, did you see that?" "What?" "I think something moved." Beneath the surface, she was already cutting through the current, legs kicking in powerful dolphin strokes. Her fingers reached the piling of the pier. Her lungs burned, but not with panic. It was the familiar burn of controlled oxygen deprivation training. She'd spent nights underwater, holding her breath until the world blurred. This was routine. At 5 minutes, she was directly beneath the men. At 6, she heard their footsteps. At 7, she began to rise. At 8 minutes and 40 seconds, her hands broke the surface, silent, controlled. She climbed the wooden beams like a shadow rising from hell. The men didn't even hear her until she stood behind them. "What the? How?" She drowned. I saw her drown. Her hair was plastered to her face, eyes ice cold, expression calm as stone. "You should have done your research," she said quietly. Navy divers hold their breath for 9 minutes. They scrambled back, tripping over their own boots, terror blasting through them as she advanced, unshaken, unstoppable, dripping with river water like a creature pulled from the deep. "You tried to drown a diver," she added. "Now let's see how well you survive the cold." And the river, still roaring below, seemed to wait for them. The men ran, slipping across the frost-covered pier, but she followed, silent, relentless, and barefoot on wet wood. Every step left droplets of river water behind her, but she didn't shiver. Navy diver conditioning hardened the body in ways they couldn't imagine. Hypothermia took ordinary people. She had trained to fight it. "Split up," one of them yelled, voice cracking. They sprinted toward the abandoned warehouse district at the pier's edge. Rusted metal doors slammed against the wind. The river roared behind her, but she didn't even look back. She already knew how this night would end. The first man ducked inside a warehouse, grabbing a rusted pipe like it would save him. His breaths came fast, too fast. Panic was his enemy. Calm was hers. She stepped inside, water still dripping from her uniform, the cold mist swirling around her like a ghost. He swung. She caught the pipe with one hand. The man froze, stunned at the strength in her fingers. With a twist, she ripped it from him and tossed it aside. "You tried to drown someone who breathes underwater for a living," she said. Her fist hit his chest, controlled, precise. He folded instantly, collapsing with a gasp. She didn't waste a second. The second man tried hiding behind crates, fumbling with his phone. "Call someone, anyone. She's not human." He turned, and she was already there. She spoke softly. "You taped my wrists. Want to see how long you last?" Her hand swept his legs, sending him crashing down. She pinned him with effortless pressure, her knee on his back. "You threw me in a freezing river," she murmured. "But I've dived under Arctic ice. You think cold scares me?" He whimpered as she cut the tape around his own wrists and bound him with it before knocking him unconscious. 2 down. The last one, the ringleader, ran toward the pier's edge, hoping to reach the boat tied there. His boots pounded the wood. His mind replayed the image of her rising from the river like something unstoppable. He looked back. She was walking toward him. Not running, walking, calm, controlled, and that terrified him more than anything. He stumbled onto the boat, fumbling with the motor. His fingers shook. The key slipped. He cursed, trying again. Too late. She stepped onto the boat, the wooden hull rocking under her weight. The moonlight glinted off the water still dripping from her hair. "You wanted me to disappear," she said softly. Please, just let me go." She shook her head. "No, people like you don't stop unless someone makes you." He grabbed a flare gun and fired. A desperate move, a stupid one. She ducked and kicked, knocking him to the deck before the flare even hit the water. He looked up at her in pure terror. "What are you?" She leaned down, voice calm as the river's dark depths. "A Navy diver." Then she turned the boat around and headed back toward the pier, 3 criminals secured, cold river wind blowing through her hair. And not once did she lose her breath.